Hi, I'm the Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. Today I'll be doing a review and tutorial of the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Contour and Illuminator in Intensity 1, which looks like this. And I'll be talking about how I like to use it for contouring and then also use the illuminating shade to add highlights on strategic parts of the face. I had read a lot of interesting reviews of this product before I personally procured it, and I wasn't certain how often I would use it. I knew it would be a great addition to my collection, but wasn't sure how applicable it would be to everyday life. I'm happy to say that I use this all the time, and it's one of those products that's dispelled the scariness factor of contouring. It can be done very quickly and without a lot of effort or precision for that matter. The product works really well with my skin, which I would classify as just normal to combination, and so I'll be showing you some of my tips and tricks for making this work every day quickly in a couple of minutes in the morning. The Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Compact does retail for $75, which is a rather costly investment for a single item of makeup, but as I've already mentioned, it's something that has had a utilitarian presence in my makeup routine. So I think the investment has been worthwhile, at least in my experience. And it does come in two shades. I'm working with the Intensity 1. Intensity 1 is probably appropriate for skin ranging from NC or NW 10 or 15 all the way through NC or NW 30. And then that's probably where Intensity 2 would take over, would be NC 30 or 35 and onward, just so that it shows up. I've swatched the Intensity 1 on my wrist. You can see that it's a very creamy brown pigment, and right here is the illuminating portion of the compact. It's very sheer champagne type appearance, but it's not particularly shimmery, which is what I like about it. It's very natural. It gives a dewy finish to the face, which I'll be demonstrating momentarily, but it's not a glitter festival, and I appreciate the fact that it's sophisticated and restrained rather than overtly shimmery. So before I get to the demonstration, I would like to disclose that I am currently wearing some makeup. In terms of foundation, I'm wearing the Face Atelier Pro Ultra Foundation in shade number 2, which I would deem appropriate for skin tone somewhere in the NC 20 to NC 25 range. It also has a great neutral undertone, so probably NWs could get away with this as well. I've been trying it for the last couple of days, so I'm hesitant to weigh in on it in an official way, but so far I'm really pleased with its dewy, natural, yet full coverage finish. So more on that in the future. Additionally, I'm wearing a touch of the revered Clé de Peau concealer in number 2, which is Beige, and this shade is appropriate for light skin tones. You can see a swatch of it on my wrist right there. I also have it in Ochre, which is a little darker, and I can use that in the summertime. I just have it in my under eye region and anywhere where my freckles might be popping out from under the foundation. And then on my eyes, the makeup that I'm wearing is actually residual from this morning. It's currently 6 o'clock in the evening, and I put this eyeliner on at 7:30, which is, it's crazy that it's still on. I'm using the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liner in Intense Black, has a felt tip, and I recently introduced this product in a tutorial that I did for DermStore, which is a major online beauty and skincare retailer. I'll try to put a link to that video in the details of this video if you're interested in checking it out, but truly this is one indelible liner, and this is the proof of that in light of the fact that I put this on, gosh, almost 12 hours earlier, and it's still holding up without fading or smearing or flaking away. And then for my lashes, I'm just wearing the Guerlain Lay 2 mascara and it's got two sides. I've talked about this before. I typically use the larger brush. It's a thin brush, but it's the longer brush. And I put this on this morning. It's still on my eyes. And that is the extent of my existing makeup. Oh, and lips. And for lips, I'm just wearing two colors. MAC Mineralize Rich Lipstick, a new release for this month. And I'm wearing Posh Tone, which I'll be reviewing more specifically on my blog, which is kind of like a nude, a warm nude, kind of deeper than I'm used to, mixed with Dreaminess, which is more up my alley color-wise. It's a lavender, pink, creamy color. I mixed the two together to get an appropriately light nude lip, and so far I'm really liking the texture of these lipsticks. Okay, so this is how I contour using the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate every morning with just a very minimal time investment. I'm usually in a rush and I can pull this off in probably under 30 seconds. First off, I take my Sephora Angled Synthetic Brush number 130. Love this brush, and it's all I use with this particular product. And I just put the angled brush onto the contour cream. This is a creamy product, and I like that because it melts into the skin very believably. It doesn't leave a line of demarcation as long as you are careful to blend it. So I have it on my brush, and here comes the next step. The best way to make sure that you're hitting the appropriate contour area for your face is to suck in your cheeks and then put the contour in the hollow area that's created by that face. So here I go. Okay, now you can see the contoured side and the non-contoured side, and already there's a big difference. I will be blending this more extensively momentarily, but this is just the initial pass. I'm careful to only put a little bit on the brush because this product is so pigmented that you don't want to overdo it, and it could be easy to do with a concentration of product. So now I'm going to go to this side. All right, so now I have the contour, and I do kind of stipple it in to make sure it's blending outward. I don't want to get too far down here because then it's contoured in an area that wouldn't normally have this. So that would not be right. So just put a little more in here. I'm just making sure to blend now. And there you go. And what I like about this shade is that in addition to adding great contour and structure to the face, it also warms up the skin a little bit. So it's not as intense as bronzer, but it is better than going with a rosy blush and hoping that's going to take care of all the warmth. It's a good warm brown that doesn't oxidize to a garish orange, and I appreciate that. Now I'm just going to set this because it's a creamy product. I like to set it with a little powder, but if I use a white powder, a translucent, or a light powder, it might actually be counterproductive to the contouring I've just done. So I'm going to use a little bit of my at Goldcombe Bay bronzing powder by Rouge Bunny Rouge. I've definitely hit pan on this, and so that's a testament to how much I enjoy this color, especially in the winter. I'm just going to use my retractable Sephora blush brush, and I'm going to put a very, very light dusting across my cheekbones, not all the way down, but just a little bit to set. And that's it. I don't want to overdo it. And always add color, but it's excruciatingly difficult to take away. Now, if time permits and I'm feeling like being a little more thorough, I can take a little bit more of the contour, just the tiniest bit, and go down the sides of my nose. Very subtle, and then I can go across the top of my forehead and along the jawline here. Very subtle. You don't want to have an obvious color that's perceptible to the eye, but it's this minuscule touch that makes all the difference to bring the color together. You can see I'm close up and you can't see a line of demarcation, just warmth and angling to the face. Now, to finish things off, I'm going to use a fantastic multitasking product. It's called the Cream Fresh Tint for Lip and Cheek in the shade Mystique, which is by Le Métier de Beauté. And it is, as the name implies, a creamy product. Mystique is kind of a light, very light, translucent, pale pink. I'm just going to dab a little bit on my finger. You can see it there. It's not an obvious color. It has a touch of shimmer. And I'm just going to put it on the apples of my cheeks to add a little bit of flush and a little bit of glow. I have swatches of this product on my blog, and there's another great shade called Coral Nymph, same formula, and I have swatches of that as well. Alright, so a little flush, nothing over the top. And now to get to the illuminating portion of this compact, I'm going to be using my ring finger here and just taking a little bit of the white cream, very creamy just like the contour, and I'm going to put it in some strategic places on my face. Tiny bit on my upper cheekbone, dab a little more across here, that side, a touch down the bridge of my nose, maybe a little bit in my forehead region if I wish, touch in the Cupid's bow area, and maybe a little in the corners of my eyes to add some illumination there. All right, that is the extent. I wouldn't dare use a brush with the illuminator. I think that would give me much more product than I would desire. I just can pat it all in. Now I have a very glowy, dewy finish. In truly a matter of seconds. This was a real-time application. So you can see the contour, the glow, the illuminated, highlighted areas, and it's all done literally in probably under 60 seconds. If I wasn't talking and just working, that would be the effect. I feel like things are a little dewier than I prefer. I might set with a touch of powder, not a lot, once again, because that would perhaps reverse my efforts. And right now I'm working with the Serge Lutens Teint. I do not speak French, but I do my best. In 040, it's a compact powder, and I got this at Barney's. I will need to do a full review. This product requires a full devoted review because it's amazing. And so I'll just take my Hourglass retractable brush, get the tiniest amount of powder on the brush, and just kind of quickly dust it all over the face without wanting to take away any major glow, but just to set the look as it is. And this look will probably require a touch-up for, gosh, easily 4 hours. Because this is a cream product, some people are concerned about perhaps it exacerbating an oil issue on the skin. In my case, as I've said, I'm normal to combination, and I have not noticed that being an issue. As long as my skin is primed and prepped, and then I'm working with a foundation that keeps my skin balanced, then this does not do anything adverse to create oil. It just creates a nice believable contour and believable illumination. The cream, I think, is an asset in this case for the naturalness and the believability of it all. Texturally, it feels like skin and it looks like skin, and I think that's what sets this product apart from a traditional contour powder. I truly hope you enjoyed this review and tutorial, and I welcome your questions and comments. Please don't forget to stop by my blog, Beauty Professor, at www.beautyprofessor.net, and do take care.